Hello, everybody. Welcome to OneMDHealth, where science meets soul. I am so excited to introduce our first guest for today. So, when people think about healthy aging, we often think about medications, supplements, or the latest wellness trends. But one of the most important, powerful tools for longevity is something so much simpler: movement, walking, moving, exercise. So simple, but yet we don't keep it a priority sometimes. So today's guest is Kimberly. She is a yoga instructor, but she's honestly so much more than that, and I'm going to have her introduce herself and explain that. She's dedicated to work in helping seniors becoming stronger, more confident, and more independent through movement. Kimberly, welcome to OneMDHealth. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what wellness means to you.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm just so elated to be here. Yes, so as mentioned, I teach yoga. I've been teaching for about 9 years now. And also, though, am a certified health coach. I am a certified meditation teacher, even a mindful outdoor guide. And so I can take you out into the woods and we can experience all kinds of great things that the forest offers to us. So I do that as well as a full-time job, but wellness is a big priority for me. It's a priority for my own life, and because of the benefits that I've seen in my own life and soul, I feel it's incumbent upon me to really share that with others, and so I do that through my teaching and my speaking and such. So
that is wonderful. I mean, I love how you prioritize movement and yoga and meditation. I cannot tell you how many times I tell my patients how important it is just to regulate your nervous system, right? To feel safe in your body, to receive even wellness. I mean, that is even half the battle.
Right.
So tell us, how did you become a yoga instructor, and what inspired you to go down this path of wellness?
Sure. Well, I've tried a lot of things. I boxed.
Love it.
I did, the FitRx, the TRX classes and the boot camps, and I ran for a long time. I did a marathon, but I got to a point where I needed to do something that was good for me. But in the setting I was in as a business owner, I felt like I was constantly criticized by the clients. Right? Mm-hmm. I always felt like I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't fast enough. And so I needed to go to a place where I was enough. Mm-hmm. And in those boot camp classes and others, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's do harder, go harder, go.
Push.
And push. Exactly. And yoga, you're told when you walk in that you are exactly as you need to be today.
Yes.
And that is just right.
Acceptance.
Yeah. And so I needed a place where I could be me and it was okay. Yes. Wherever I was that day. And so it was a bit of a culture shock, right? I'd never laid in Shavasana for let alone 5 minutes or 10 minutes. 2 minutes was a struggle. But I realized how much better I felt after I left class. And I started to notice the changes in myself, and my stomach was a mess already with the stress and everything that I was going through, and yoga started to bring some calm to that, right, and allowed me to breathe and allowed me to just actually even notice myself, right? Because we're always so busy and we're always so focused on the external, everything around us, that we often just ignore what's going on in ourselves. And yoga was an opportunity for me to actually start paying attention to myself.
So as we talk about that, I think that is so important to understand and recognize. So you mentioned that, yes, my stomach was a mess and I felt stress and the hustle culture, and yoga kind of calmed all of that down. So what particular experience inspired your path? Was it just the fact that you just got tired of the hustle and bustle and you got tired of just rush, and you felt like you wanted a place to just feel just calm, right?
Well, I did, yes, but the reason I kept going was not only was I noticing a difference in myself, but I started to recognize that others around me were liking me better. Right? I mean, to put it bluntly.
I hear you. Yes. You were more calm.
I was.
You were more into your element.
I was. And, to that point, so I own my own business, and I started going to yoga at noon on Tuesday and Thursday. And it was a hot class, and you sweat it all out or whatever. And I would come back to the office and I would feel better. And what I started to notice was that my staff figured this out. And anything that was like really important or really controversial or stressful or needed a big decision, they waited until after I got back from yoga to talk about it.
So they took it as a priority. They understood
Yes.
what a difference your mindset became.
Absolutely.
How much more grounded you felt.
Yes.
And how you were able to even do work even better.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what I feel needs to be touched on to our viewers, is that yoga is like, it's more than just poses, right? It's more than just deep breathing. It's really like a transformation, your whole body, feeling safe.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of discuss a little bit about what particular clients you work with in yoga, because I know there's so many yoga instructors out there that work with different types of clients, younger clients, older clients. And I guess I find that a lot of my older patients sometimes come to me and tell me, well, doc, I can't bend that way. I mean, are you kidding? You want me to go to a yoga class? I'm like hot and sweaty. Like I feel suffocated. And those are all valid reasons.
Right.
Very, very valid reasons. Like I can't handle yoga. Hormones change after a certain time. I get dehydrated. I can't bend a certain way. I'm extremely tired and exhausted, and my mind races. And a lot of times, and here's my favorite, I want to get out of here. When is this going to be done?
Right.
That is my favorite comment. And this is what I tell my patients. Well, you need it the most.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned when you were going in Savasana, excuse me, and a lot of times you're like, okay, I got to get ready for the day. Let me get off this floor. And you realize after you keep doing it, you need it more than anybody.
Absolutely.
And those are the type of patients, well, you need your nervous system to feel more calm, more than anything.
Yes.
So what type of clients do you work with? I think that from my understanding is that you work with a little, older generation population. And this is what I found fascinating about you, is that you're the first yoga instructor I've honestly met that really focuses on movement and resilience. It's not just about how quick can you get into downward dog? How quick can you get into crow pose? I still can't do crow pose, guys. Sorry, I just cannot. Like, forget about it. No. Maybe the other one, I forgot that there's an easier pose. Help me out with it. I forgot. Flying frog. I can do flying frog.
Yes, flying frog, yes. Yes.
That I can do.
Yes.
I cannot do crow.
Yeah.
So,
Get those knees up there. Yeah. It's hard. It is. It's hard.
I mean, especially when you've had a long day, it's like, forget about it.
Yes.
So what I loved about you particularly is that I think you focus on older generational folks, right? So tell me a little bit more about that, like when you teach and who is your average age?
Yeah. I mean, I have taught the whole gamut, right? Kids.
Kids? Love it.
I was even brought in by a wrestling coach.
Oh my goodness.
To have me teach the kids how to breathe so that they don't panic when they're, pinned down, and they teach themselves how to calm themselves down.
Really?
With their breath, yes. So I've done that to all the way to, yes, older generations. I think that I fortunately can appeal to older people. And I mean, old is whatever you make of it, right? When you're 20, 40 seems old. When
Everyone
you're 40,
thinks
60
they're old in their
seems
20s.
old.
Yeah, everybody's old.
Yes. I forget how old I am sometimes. But anyways, no matter what age you are, yoga meets you where you're at. And there's modifications for that. And, the thing that's great is, yes, I'm not a great, I can't put my foot over my head. I'm not like this flexy, bendy, pretzel kind of person, which I think does help because a lot of us, most of us are not. And
Right.
so we jive together, right? We fit together.
Right.
And it's okay. When someone comes to my class, it is absolutely a non-judgment zone. If you want to come to my class because you've had one heck of a day and you just need to lay there for 10 minutes, I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm okay with that because we all need a safe space to be ourselves and just be. Right, we're human beings, not human doings, and so we need a space to be.
Right.
And so I think no matter what your age is, having a safe space, having an opportunity to just experiment.
Right.
I use that word all the time in my class. This is just an experiment. We're not solving anything. We just want to try it. So try balancing this way, or try moving this way, or maybe it's a stretch or a move that you've done for years. What if you tried it just a little bit differently?
So I want to touch a little bit on this basically medically. As a medical doctor myself and a yogi for about 8 years. I've been practicing yoga for about 8 years, and I want to have, how you feel about this. And what I have found, especially even for my body and for my patients, when whatever we could have done 8 years ago, our bodies just worked that way 8 years ago. In our 20s and 30s, our bodies were working this way. And then as we approach our 40s and 50s, we realize our bodies are changing. And what I find about yoga is that it teaches you a lot about your body.
Absolutely.
It teaches you a lot about where you feel safe, where you don't feel safe inside your body. And as we all know, as I could just say for women, we hold our stress so much in our hips. And so the stretching of the hips during yoga is like such a release medically as well and biologically. And I find that a lot of my patients that practice yoga, like their gut literally transforms into healing. And my question for you is that, do you believe that that it's never too late, right, to start yoga? It's never too late, no matter what age. And what is the oldest age client that you have that comes to your yoga practice?
Oh, gosh. I mean, even when I started teaching and I was at a different place, I had ladies who were in their 70s coming to my class. They were so excited. I remember one of them coming to me after class saying, I just went to my doctor and I grew an inch because I'm standing a little taller.
I grew an inch.
And
okay.
yes, I'm taller, which, I don't, did she or not? Probably she didn't grow, but she
felt amazing.
She felt taller. The posture improved because she realized, right, instead of being like this, like just the difference in lifting the heart and such. So yeah, I mean, I have, I don't ask how old anybody is, but
kind of
guesstimating, yeah, for sure. I'm sure I have folks in their 60s and 70s easily in my classes on a weekly basis, and before hip surgery and after hip surgery and before knee replacement and after knee replacement.
I love
it. And because like you said, you can start at any point in time.
So that's your message.
It is. It really is. And you start small. I mean, I remember when I started and just, again, coming back to that place of calm, just for me to do a couple sun salutations in the morning, just to get me started and going, and just to set my mind right. Yes, I mean, we can do things. There's chair yoga. There's lots of modifications. There's blocks to use. There's extra padding underneath your knees if you want it. So we can make things work, just, however it is. But yes, you don't want to say I can't because, again, when I'm teaching class, I always approach it as this is an experiment, but you've got to be willing to try something, because if you don't move, you don't move.
And that's the main idea, is movement. Movement is medicine. That is what's really important.
It is.
And what I really love about yoga, it's like redefining aging that actually works for you and movement. And so I guess I wanted to ask you is, what does healthy aging mean to you particularly? What should women and men focus on at this time? Like, I have a lot of patients that come to me, okay, I'm getting older. I can't walk the way I could. I can't move the way I could. And let's just be honest. Let's be really honest here. You know, we as older adults, we're very set in our ways. We're very set. When we wake up in the morning, no, this is how I've always done it for 30, 40, 50 years. Why is it that I have to change? I don't have time is a big one. Why am I sitting here? It's weird. Why am I sitting like this? It's weird. Like, this doesn't even work. So there's a lot of, I think, like, mindset. So I guess my question is, like, what does a healthy aging mean to you? Because it doesn't mean perfectionism, correct? It just means what you can do.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, just any time in life, right? There's no perfection, right? It's a practice, right? Yoga is a practice. Life is a practice.
Right.
And yeah.
What do you tell your patients? So you said you mentioned that you have been a certified health coach, right? And what would you tell your patients to modify their day-to-day? Like, you know, we have busy lives, unfortunately, barely have any time. And what would you recommend them where to start? Like yoga once a week, or meditation one time in the morning or in the evening? So what would you tell your clients where to start that can make a big impact?
Small. Start small.
Whatever fits in there.
Yes. I mean, I often call them chewable bites.
I love it. Chewable bites.
Find a chewable bite that you can do, because you know, so many of us approach something and we dive in head first and we expect to be able to do it 6 times a week and feel great.
And happen all of a sudden in like a week.
And then all of a sudden our body changes and pow, it's done.
No patience whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they feel like
if
it's not working.
If
right?
only.
Yeah.
So, you know, the only way you're going to keep going is if you see success in what you're doing. Right. Let's be honest. Right. Persistence is key, but we have to feel some internal reward for what we're doing. And so I always say, just start small, and maybe it's 10 minutes. And so you do 10 minutes today. Maybe 10 minutes is a lot for someone who's starting from, you know, the ground floor. 10 minutes might be a lot. So start with 5. And that's okay.
And where would they go for this? Like, are there apps that you recommend? Your class that you talk about, like, where would you recommend that?
Sure. I mean, I've put videos on my YouTube channel. I have meditations on my website. And yes, there's so many things out there, right? And you can decide how long. And look, you can pick a 15, 20, 30-minute class. You don't have to do the whole thing. Right? You can just start with those first 5 minutes, set a timer, and if the timer goes off and you're like, oh, you know what, I can probably stay for another 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Awesome. So I don't think there's a set rule or that you have to use this. Right? You can take a walk outside for 10 minutes. In the morning or during lunch break, or maybe you're hitting that wall at 2 o'clock and you just go walk and get your cup of coffee. Or Well,
to comment on that, I mean, I often tell my patients that to regulate their cortisol, right? Because when a lot of my patients come to me, either their cortisol's too high, where they're really in high stress mode, or they have none. And they've completely depleted their adrenals and they're completely fatigued and exhausted. So I get a lot of that question, like, well, how do you regulate your cortisol? Go outside at the first thing in the morning, get that fresh air, get that first beam of sunlight when you first wake up, build that circadian rhythm, go for a walk, 10 minutes, right? And you agree with this, 10 minutes, put a meditation on YouTube and just walk and listen to it and get your coffee. Because that's, as a busy mom, physician, everything, that's what I have to do, which regulates and it works. So what do you see in your clients that gives you hope that the concept of aging is changing in a great way? What gives you hope, and what are the biggest misconceptions of patients or clients that when they're getting older, like, this is it, and why do people accept weakness as a normal part of aging?
Well, I think we've been told that as we get older, we get weaker. and we can't do as much.
Right. Our doctors tell us that too.
Yeah. I mean, the world tells us that. Oh, you're getting older. Everything's going downhill.
Yeah, there's no point, really. I mean, there's no
Right?
point in anything in life. Just let it go. Let yourself go. There's nothing you can do. Your genes are going to tell you look at your mom, look at your older sister, right? It's just, forget it.
Exactly.
They do tell us that. Like, we're supposed to
do.
just accept that that's just aging.
Yeah. So I really kind of disagree with that.
I do too, and that's why we get along.
I
this.
do,
That's why
I
you're
do.
here, because I
Yes.
love that you disagree with that, because I refuse to age, and so do you. And it's not about aesthetics. It's about movement. It's about
It is. I mean, we're all aging, right?
We are.
We can't stop that process.
No, we can't.
But there are things that we can do about it that make it better, right? And for all practical purposes, what do you want to do? As you're getting older, I mean, none of us say, well, as I get older, I just want to sit on my couch for 5 hours a day. No, we say, I want to play with my grandkids, or I want to travel, or I want to, what do you want to be doing? Well, how can you do that, right? If you're playing with the grandkids, that means you've got to get up and down.
Right.
If you're traveling, that means you've got to walk a distance. And so if those are your goals, absolutely, yes, you should be doing that. And so what can you do? If that's the goal, make that the goal. And take those walks and make them a little bit longer, and then add some elevation.
Right.
And, if it's to play with the grandkids, well, how are you doing getting up and down? How is your core strength?
Right.
Can you
And
do
yoga
those things?
focuses on that.
And yoga focuses on that. And so we work on those different things, on endurance, on strength, on balance, which is so important. And yes, some flexibility too. And so giving yourself that opportunity to say, this is where I'd like to be. And so let's make sure we're doing things
Right.
to get me there, get me there.
Let's talk a little bit about that, actually. I think that's a really great concept that we have to talk about, muscle versus balance. And that's also what I hear a lot, is that yoga just focuses on balance. It doesn't really focus on muscle building and strength training. There's always like this fight between strength training and muscle building, no, strength training and balance. So a lot of my patients always ask me, well, which one should I focus more on, doc? Should I focus on strength training more, or yoga exercises, or Pilates, or what have you? And I always say both. So my question to you is really, like, what is more important, like, with strength training versus balance? I mean, technically, basically, I tell them you need both, correct?
Absolutely. And certainly yoga does give you those things. I mean, yoga is not just flexing, right? It's not just stretching, which most people think, right? I mean, to do a plank and to balance on one foot for a while, to keep that endurance going. There is strength in a crescent pose. There is strength in a warrior two, right? We call them warriors for a reason, because it takes strength to do them. And so there are all of those things, and I think that's what surprises people about yoga when they first go to a class. They expect one thing, and then they're like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was weak here, or I was tight here. My hips, wow, I didn't. Yeah, I felt that one. And so it does provide all of those things because they are all important, right? You need balance. You need strength, core strength, muscle strength, leg strength, arm strength, especially, right now when we're hearing about all of the GLP-1s and those effects on muscle strength and the lack thereof. And so it's even becoming more and more important. But absolutely, I mean, I know even in my own I'm training, I decided last year, and I'm in my 50s, that I'm going to do triathlon.
She looks fabulous in her 50s, everybody. Like, let's just put it that way, okay? So I'm just saying that,
Yeah, but I mean, for me, strength is like so important because I really need to build that strength to keep my endurance going. And so they all take a role, and it is an important part, and mixing it up. You don't have to do only yoga. You can do yoga and other things too, and that's important as well.
It's about, like, mixing it up, like working out like twice a week. I mean, this is what I tell my patients, like strength training 3 times per week, and and also just basically yoga once a week at least. And so what I have noticed, especially as a hospitalist, I often see what happens after a fall to my patients. And this is what makes me so passionate about this topic. And having you here is because I am so sad when I see a 70-year-old woman come to the hospital with a broken hip and she just tells me, well, I just sit on the couch. I don't work out as much. And a broken hip, that's it. It's over and done with. Yes, they do physical therapy, but when you have no idea of exercise, no sense of exercise, no sense of getting up from a chair, this is what puts you into this vulnerable position where you allow the healthcare system to take care of you and you leave it in their hands. And really, health should be in our hands. That's what I really believe. I see the fractures, the surgeries, and the loss of independence. So preventing that with yoga and strength training, that'll eventually, that'll be the best thing you could do for yourself. You can start that years earlier than the problem happens.
Absolutely.
And this is why, to me, this is wellness. This is preventative health. This is preventative medicine. Starting before the problem becomes severe.
Absolutely.
So I know we need to wrap up pretty soon, but I wanted to just kind of ask a few more questions about just women, midlife, and strength. As you know, we're both women. We're entering midlife. We're getting through all the stages of midlife. So, I could talk to you forever, really, actually. But, but what do you find? What can women start? Where can women start if they are intimidated? Because so many women think they need to exercise harder and they really need to exercise, but really it's about exercising smarter, right?
Yeah.
So what would you tell someone, a woman in her 40s and 50s, even a man, what they can do to change their health, even just small things? What should they prioritize besides nutrition, besides everything, but regarding just their movement and their balance?
Well, I think, taking a look at what they're doing now. Right. For some, I have some folks in my class, one person I'm thinking in particular, and she's a runner and she does a ton of running. Okay. But she's starting to incur some injuries. And I said, well, what kind of strength are you doing? I'm not doing any. I'm not doing any. I'm like, okay, there's a gap we need to fill. There's a gap we need to fill. So I think maybe just start by taking a look at what you're doing now. Yeah. The other thing, too, is what do you enjoy? You don't force yourself to do. If you hate yoga, I'm okay with it, right?
We're okay with it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There are other things. There's Pilates. There's Pilates. Other ways to gain strength and flexibility and mobility and balance. And so if you just can't stand it, that's okay. Fine. What do you like? There's so many options out there. There's dancing and there's walking, and there's doing other things. There's so many options. Tai Chi. So I think thinking of what you do enjoy and making that your start.
Well, you do agree, though, that, right, if you hate it, that's fine. I get it. Yeah. And, but you do believe meditation is really, really important, though, right? God. Just having some type of way to calm your nervous system. So if it's not yoga, right, or Pilates or anything else, you do agree, right, that there has to be some form of meditation.
Yes, meditation, breath work, absolutely. It's so powerful. Your breath is such a powerful tool, and it can rev you up, and it can calm you way down. And, there's some really easy things that you can do in breath work. It doesn't take a degree to understand it. Mm-hmm. You just have to feel it. Things like Samavriti, which is equal breath, throw on a song or just sit in your car with the doors closed or lock yourself in the bathroom.
Yeah, before you go back in the house. Yes. Give yourself 5 minutes to breathe.
Give yourself a moment and just breathe in to a count of 4 and exhale out to a count of 4. And just keep doing that for about 2 minutes, and you'll be pretty amazed.
So what breath exercise would you suggest? So there's so many out there. There's take a deep breath in for 5, hold it for 8, and then exhale for 8. Is it something like that? What do you recommend?
Again, if you're starting, I would start with the Samavriti. Breathe in to a count of 4, exhale out to a count of 4. And however fast that 4 count is. And then from there you can build, right? There's box breathing. Okay. So you can breathe into a count of 4 and hold it in for a count of 4. Exhale out to a count of 4 and hold it out for a count of 4. And just start with that, right? Let's not make it difficult. It's like 4 or 5 8s, 4 or 7 8. There's so many different things.
But
But
so breathe in for 4.
and then hold it
For
4 counts.
Okay.
And then exhale out,
Exhale out.
and then leave it out. Like
give yourself like a 4.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4 pause.
Right, like that's why they call it box, because you're like
Interesting.
essentially drawing
I like
a box
that.
with your breath. Yeah.
Love it.
And so that's an easy one too. And easy to remember.
Well, I want to close out, but I first want to thank you.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
For totally coming here at OneMD Health. You totally represent what wellness means, because I love how you incorporate yoga, nervous system healing, because that's what it's about. So I just want to touch one of the biggest lessons from today's conversation is that aging isn't about losing ourselves. It really isn't. It's about continuing to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Kimberly, thank you for reminding us that movement isn't just exercise. It's a way of preserving freedom, independence, and joy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Loved it.
Until next time, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Thank you for visiting OneMD Health Podcast. Please like and subscribe if this podcast resonates with you. If you have any questions, please visit my website, samiyahashmimd.com.